Divine Revelations, the Miraculous Cost of Goodness in 7 Spiritual Lessons for Heavenly Living. The room was charged with an electric energy, divine light shimmering in every corner of the church's humble sanctuary. Sarah sat at the front, her heart racing with a mixture of hope and desperation. She looked up at the faded stained glass, casting colorful prisms across the floor, and felt the stir of the Holy Spirit among her. Her youngest son, Benjamin, was fighting for his life, and Sarah's faith was about to be put to the ultimate test. This was no ordinary prayer meeting. It was a gathering where miracles were expected, and faith came alive. As the worship began, the air thickened with sacred whispers and gentle breaths of the congregation. The sound of hymnals filled the space, warm and inviting. It felt as if the walls themselves were alive with anticipation, reverberating with an unshakable belief in God's goodness. Sarah gripped her prayer card, the ink smudged from tear-stained hands. "St. Jude," she implored silently, "light our way." Suddenly, the elderly pastor, a wise figure draped in years of love and experience, stood up. His voice, once steady, now trembled with fervor, capturing every heart in the room. "Church," he declared, "God has revealed a prophecy. A change is coming. Hold fast to your prayer. Our dear brother Benjamin is at the center of this divine wave." The congregation gasped, eyebrows raised in astonishment. And then it began. During that pivotal gathering, members of the community began sharing stories. A woman shared how her husband's addiction was healed after simply praying for Benjamin. A young man recounted how his life altered course after he received prayers as a child. Each testimony sparked ripples through the pews, igniting a wildfire of fervent hope. Sarah felt the atmosphere shift. It transformed into a reservoir of collective faith. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The fundraising event for local missions turned unexpectedly into a vibrant platform to celebrate Benjamin's fight. Banners hung in the air, declaring, "Faith unites, miracles ignite." As donations flowed in, so did prayers. The church pulsed with divine energy, and Sarah could feel the weight of the world being lifted from her shoulders. God was moving in ways she could hardly understand. And just when despair threatened to sneak back in, a miracle did manifest. Benjamin, once frail and struggling, opened his eyes on a Sunday morning amid the prayers of his community and began to speak. "Mom, I can feel him. I can feel Jesus." His words cut through the air like a sweet melody, sending waves of awe through the congregation. Doctors were baffled. The previously grim prognosis was shattered, transforming every stare of disbelief into one of reverent joy. As the sanctuary erupted into praise, Savior's light streamed in, warming their hearts and igniting a movement of renewed faith. But in this moment of divine joy, under the celebratory atmosphere, Sarah felt an unspoken tension lurking. She questioned, what does this mean for those who still struggled in their shadows? Would their tests of faith soon loom again? In that moment, a haunting realization dawned upon her. This journey wasn't solely for Benjamin, but a calling to embrace collective suffering and the unconditional goodness that stands in the face of adversity. With every miracle come trials, and as the congregation prepared to stand witness to God's transformative touch, they wondered what challenges awaited them on this shared path of faith. The echoes of praise still danced in the air, vibrant and alive, clinging to the walls as if they were breathing testimonies of faith. Sarah stood amidst her church family, her eyes glimmering with grateful tears. For the first time in weeks, hope took root in her heart, flourishing against the backdrop of despair. Yet that tension remained, a gentle whisper stirring within her. As joy enveloped her, she couldn't shake the feeling that their journey had only just begun. Weeks passed, and Benjamin's recovery became the talk of the town. Word of his miraculous awakening spread like wildfire. People flocked to the church to witness this modern-day miracle, not only to witness Benjamin, but to feel a part of something larger and more profound than themselves. They wanted to drink deeply from the well of faith,
a fountain that for many had seemed dry for too long. Tuesday evenings turned into a sacred ritual. The small gathering in the church transformed into a powerful community event filled with worship, testimonies, and relationship building, each meeting stirring the potent flames of collective hope. People brought their burdens, pouring them out in prayer, while others shared their victories, small and large. Sarah found herself enveloped in a tapestry of stories that spoke of struggle, resilience, and the ever-present goodness of God. One evening, a young mother named Clara shared her battle with postpartum depression. The room fell silent, every eye fixed on her, hearts aching in unison. "I prayed for strength," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I prayed not just for myself, but for my little one. Each day felt like a mountain. And then God led me to Benjamin's story. It lit a spark in me, a reminder that light can break through the darkest nights."
A murmur of understanding rippled through the congregation. In sharing her pain, Clara unearthed a shared suffering, a common thread that wove them all together. Sarah felt a warmth brush against her heart as Clara spoke of the unexpected joy she found in simple moments. It was in those instances, the sound of laughter during family game nights, the embrace of her partner, that Clara began to see the divine at work. After the worship session, Sarah approached Clara. They hugged tightly, tears mingling their shared vulnerability. "Thank you for your courage," Sarah whispered, her heart swelling. "Every word you shared was a prayer for someone else." In that moment, a profound realization washed over Sarah. There was strength in their collective struggle, a beauty in the community's ability to uplift each other. Their faith, tested and tried, transformed into a tapestry of interconnected miracles. Each miracle was a thread, weaving stories of joy and sorrow into a fabric that was both vulnerable and powerful. But as the gatherings continued, Sarah knew the tests of faith were far from over. Some members of the congregation began to struggle again, silently battling their demons. The darkness that had crept away now began lurking back. It was met with whispers of doubt and despair, threatening to undermine everything that had been built. One night, as the glow of candlelight flickered across the sanctuary, Sarah felt a stirring within her once more, a deep stirring of spirit. Could this be another lesson in patience, another call to deeper faith? She wondered, her heart heavy with the responsibility of leadership, the weight of guiding others through darkness. And just then, in the hushed stillness of the room, the pastor's voice broke through her thoughts, capturing everyone's attention. "Sometimes we must walk through darkness to truly appreciate the light." His words echoed in the depths of Sarah's heart, igniting a flicker of determination. That uncertainty, the testing winds of faith, might lead them to an even greater revelation. As they prepared for another week of prayers, Sarah pondered one question: what awaited them in the shadows? Would they face the trials together, hand in hand, emerging stronger and more united than before? The mystery of their journey remained, enveloping each soul with a divine promise waiting to unfold. The next week, as Tuesday approached, the air was laden with anticipation. Sarah arrived early to the church, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The familiar faces of her congregation began to appear, clutching their worries and hopes in equal measure. She greeted them with a warm smile, but she couldn't deny the uneasiness bubbling beneath her calm exterior. What lay ahead? As night fell, the sanctuary lit up with flickering candles, and soft music embraced the walls. In this sacred space, vulnerability took form, wrapping around them like a warm blanket. Sarah took her place at the front, heart humming with the pulse of their gathering. Each person carried their burdens like heavy stones, but in this moment, they had come seeking refuge in the arms of faith. As they settled in, the pastor stepped forward and began with a powerful reminder of God's goodness. "Tonight," he said with passion, "we dive into the depths of our struggles. It is here, in these depths, that we find the treasure of deliverance." The testimonies flowed freely. A young man named David stood, trembling but determined, to share his ongoing fight with addiction. "I thought I could never escape it," he confessed, tears glistening in the light. "But in this community, I found hope. I was reminded that my failures don't define me. God's grace does." His words hung delicately in the air, felt and revered by all. The room filled with murmurs of agreement, lifting David's spirit higher. He wasn't alone anymore. It became clear They were all walking through shadows, illuminating their path with shared light. After the testimonies, Sarah felt nudged by the Holy Spirit. She stepped forward, held tightly in the embrace of collective warmth. "We are called to support one another," she spoke, her voice steady yet gentle. "But what about ourselves? How do we tend to the silence in our own hearts? We have to be agents of healing too." A comfortable hush followed her statement, its weight heavy with reflection. Congregants exchanged glances as inward thoughts began swirling and stirring. With a light smile, Sarah offered, "Let's close our eyes and pray, allowing silence to reveal the unspoken wounds we carry." The sanctuary fell silent, and in that stillness, Sarah sensed a flicker of the divine. It washed over the room, flowing gently like a river of peace. And in that sacred moment, hearts began to open, revealing deep wounds and hidden sorrows. The air vibrated with the presence of compassion and warmth as people began to weep softly, each tear a testament to their burdens. Suddenly, Clara spoke up, her voice strong and clear. "We are not just souls needing comfort. We are vessels of God's miraculous goodness. Each struggle brings us closer to Him, doesn't it?" The room erupted in agreement, faith blossoming. As Sarah watched the outpouring of emotions, she realized that this community had forged something precious. Each story wove together into a tapestry of resilience, allowing them to rise as one. They were learning how to reach out, and in reaching out, they were grasping hold of the light. The evening closed with a call to action. "Let's be the hands and feet of Christ," the pastor urged, igniting a fire in their collective spirits. "Let us step boldly into the world to share this light. No more hiding in shadows." As they left the church, Sarah felt renewed vigor swelling within her. But a lingering question remained. How would they maintain the strength of their unity when the demands of life pulled them back into isolation?
What challenges would await them as they stepped into the light? The mystery beckoned them forward toward an unfolding journey of divine revelations. As the days turned into another week, the warmth of the previous gathering still lingered in Sarah's heart. The church walls echoed with the sounds of hope and healing, and yet a new unease settled in. How would they carry that light into the wider world? Could their moments of revelation withstand the trials ahead? On the next Tuesday evening, the sanctuary was again filled, but this time there was a noticeable energy buzzing among the congregation. They came with a yearning to share their journeys, each soul ready to step into the current of divine transformation. As Sarah took her place at the front, she felt the Holy Spirit stirring in the air, like a gentle wind encouraging growth. "Tonight, we explore the cost of goodness," the pastor began, his voice ringing with authority. "We dive deeper into our faith, seeking to uncover how we can live out God's love in our everyday lives. But remember, every step towards goodness carries a price." Sarah shifted her weight slightly, her heart pounding with the gravity of that statement. What would that price look like, and would they truly be ready to pay it? She glanced around and caught David's eye. His spirit, once weighed down, now shone bright, ignited by his newfound purpose. Testimonies began to unfold. Clara stood again, her presence commanding the attention of the room. "I've realized," she started, her hands trembling, "that the cost of goodness isn't just about giving. It is about being open, vulnerable, and willing to step away from our comfort zones." Her voice trembled, but her words held a profound strength. "We must embrace our own struggles," Clara continued, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "It's within those hardships that we discover true strength and the power of community. We can't be afraid to expose our hearts." The atmosphere filled with understanding, mingled with the fragrance of shared courage. Each story shared that evening felt like a seed planted, ready to germinate in the rich soil of shared experiences. Sarah felt moved deeply as people opened themselves, unearthing their pain and triumphs. It was a collective journey of revelation. The evening progressed, and suddenly David stood once more, confident and steadfast. "I've learned that sometimes the cost of goodness means sacrificing our pride," he shared boldly. "Giving of ourselves is hard, but the blessings that come from it are immeasurable." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the congregation. It felt as though hearts were beating as one. The fear of vulnerability was being transformed into a powerful expression of love. Sarah smiled, her spirit soaring among the sea of faces shining with renewed purpose. "As we learn to share, we embody the true nature of community," she encouraged. "Let's not shy away from the cost."
Each step into goodness is a step into God's arms. With that, they bowed their heads again, creating space for prayer. In this sacred moment, a rush of warmth filled the room. It felt as if the boundaries of heaven and earth had begun to intertwine. In the heart of their worship, Sarah sensed something extraordinary. A divine revelation was unfolding. Together they prayed, not just for themselves, but for the world outside those walls. Sarah's heart swelled with the thought of their unity rippling outward. Yet another question emerged in her spirit. Would their newfound resolve withstand the strains of a weary world? What challenges would rise when they dared to step into goodness? As the candles flickered and the prayer came to a close, Sarah opened her eyes, feeling the weight of an unspoken promise. It was a call to action. The divine whispers seemed to echo in her ears, urging them forward into uncharted waters. The story was only beginning, and the next chapter awaited with mysteries yet to unfold. As the last echoes of their prayer hung in the air, a stillness enveloped the sanctuary. Sarah felt the gentle weight of expectation resting in her heart, a beckoning to rise and embrace the challenges ahead. She glanced around and saw faces lit with hope, yet there was an unspoken tension too, a sense that the true test of their faith was about to begin. After a moment, Pastor Mark spoke again, his voice softer, drawing everyone's attention back to the present. "Tonight, I want us to reflect," he paused, scanning the congregation, "on what it means to embody goodness, not just among ourselves, but in a world that often feels indifferent." His words felt like ink spreading on a blank tapestry. In that intimate gathering, Sarah sensed that everyone was eager to dig deeper. "What if," he continued, "the cost is greater than we anticipate? What if we are called to extend our arms even wider than we ever thought possible?" A ripple of murmurs passed through the room, a blend of uncertainty and excitement. This was a moment of divine engagement, a call to spiritual arms. Sarah felt her own heart racing at the thought. This was where faith met action. In that charged atmosphere, Clara stood again, her cheeks glistening with the traces of tears. "I believe," she began, her voice steadying, "the cost of goodness means standing up against injustice. It means looking outside our comfort and seeing the needs of others. To love those who have been cast aside," David added, his voice rising with fervor. "To extend God's grace without reservation." The congregation shifted in their seats, the weight of their words hanging heavy yet hopeful. Sarah felt as if she were at the edge of a vast ocean, the waves of revelation crashing around her. What if each act of goodness truly could spark a chain reaction, transforming despair into hope, darkness into light? As the testimonies flowed, Sarah found herself pondering her own strengths and weaknesses.
She could feel her spirit wrestling with doubt. Would she be bold enough? Bold enough to reach out to those in need beyond her church walls? Would she truly understand the cost of goodness when it required her to step into the unknown? The Holy Spirit moved like a gentle breeze, and clarity broke through her apprehensions. She was reminded of when Jesus fed the 5,000, how a small offering multiplied into something miraculous. Could it be that an act of kindness, a simple gesture, holds the power to change hearts? "Together we can reflect Christ's love," she finally voiced, her soul ignited with a newfound commitment. "We can draw upon our shared struggles, embracing the cost of goodness as a holy calling." The room erupted in applause, a living testament to the unity binding them in purpose. Joy danced in the air, and Sarah felt it, truly felt it, as an unquenchable fire urging them on. But then, in a brief moment of silence, something stirred in her. A nagging thought gnawed at the edges of her peace. How would they manage the challenges that awaited? Would their resolve shatter under trial? Even as they committed to goodness, what trials would their faith face in a world resistant to change? Pastor Mark observed the energy in the room, sensing the collective hunger for action. "As we prepare ourselves," he declared, "let us remember, goodness is not just a concept, it is a lifestyle, a rigorous, beautiful tapestry woven together through each of our stories." His words washed over Sarah like a refreshing stream, yet the questions remained, a divine tension pulsing in her spirit.
What would they be called to sacrifice? How far should they go in their pursuit of goodness? The candlelight flickered again, casting dancing shadows as if encouraging them further into the mystery of the journey ahead. With this promise of transformation lingering in the air, Sarah realized that a new adventure awaited, one that could irrevocably change her life and the lives around her. But what sacrifices lay ahead, and how far would they need to go to keep the light shining bright? The atmosphere was electric as the congregation slowly settled again, their faces still flushed with the excitement of newfound commitment. The flickering candlelight drew their attention, creating shadows that seemed to whisper promises of hope and courage. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the warm presence of the Holy Spirit wrap around her like a comforting blanket. Tonight, let's not just talk about goodness, Pastor Mark encouraged, stepping closer to the front. Let's envision acts of goodness that might stretch us beyond our comfort zones. His eyes sparkled with anticipation. I challenge each of you to open your hearts and minds to those who are hurting. How can we meet their needs? A hush fell over the room as his words hung heavy in the air. Who among them had the means to reach the outcast? Who had the courage to cross barriers?
Sarah could sense the weight of the task ahead, and a part of her trembled at the thought of what lay ahead. Clara lifted her hand again, a small gesture that belied the strength simmering within. What if we start with those we encounter daily? The single mother down the road? The elderly man at the grocery store who looks lost? Or the youth in our community struggling for purpose? Each suggestion felt like a pebble tossed into the pool of their collective consciousness, widening their vision. Exactly, David echoed, his voice resolute. Let's turn our faith into tangible kindness. Imagine if we each committed to actively listening to one person in need this week. It may seem small, but kindness can be monumental. Sarah's heart began to race. It was true. Even the smallest gesture, like a smile or a kind word, could alter the course of someone's day. But what if it opened a door to a greater need? What if it led her down a path she hadn't anticipated? A path filled with both heartache and hope. Pastor Mark continued, sensing the excitement building. Let's remember Matthew 25:40. Whatever you do for the least of these, you do for me. The congregation erupted into whispered voices, murmurs of agreement echoing in the sacred space. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, envisioning the faces of her community, people she had walked past countless times without truly seeing them. Each face portrayed a story, a burdensome past, and perhaps a flicker of hope. Something began to shift in her spirit. An overwhelming urgency sparked within her as if she stood on the precipice of an important decision. Imagine what we could achieve if we each carried a light into those shadowed places, Clara said softly, almost as if encouraging Sarah personally. A strong urge gripped Sarah. I want to try, she exclaimed, her voice ringing with determination. I want to step out in faith, even if I falter. I want to discover how far my heart can extend. We'll do it together, another voice chimed in, igniting a wave of enthusiasm throughout the sanctuary. A chorus of affirmations arose, each soul igniting the spirit of courage within the next. Yet, as the joy swelled, a shadow danced at the edge of Sarah's thoughts. What if their attempts were met with indifference? What if their love was met with scorn? Would that shake their resolve? Just as she began to retreat into uncertainty, something shifted in the air. The flickering candlelight settled into a soft glow, revealing the faces around her, each reflecting an unyielding faith ready to act. An idea then sparked brightly in her heart. What if we create a community project? Let's collaborate on an outreach. The notion filled her with excitement and trepidation. Pastor Mark beamed, nodding enthusiastically. That's exactly the spirit we need. Together, let's brainstorm ways to act. We can each contribute our unique gifts, bringing forth the power of our collective goodness.
As ideas flowed, the sanctuary transformed into a whirl of brainstorming and enthusiasm. Plans began to unfurl, weaving together a tapestry of hope and love. Yet, beneath this current of excitement, the questions remained. How far would it take them? What challenges might arise? What price would they pay in their pursuit of genuine goodness? The evening ended, but the journey had only just begun. As they gathered for one final prayer, Sarah felt the weight of their venture settle over her like a mantle. She recognized the wild adventure ahead, ripe with the potential for both despair and joy. The real question lingered.
How far would they, each individual and the community collectively, be willing to go? In that stillness, she bowed her head and prayed earnestly for answers. Would they find strength in unity? And would they discover that the true cost of goodness was worth every sacrifice made along the way? As they left the sanctuary, the path before them remained shrouded in divine mystery. What awaited them in the embrace of that commitment? Only time would unveil the unfolding story of their faithful journey. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a golden light that filtered through Sarah's window. Morning had come with the promise of a new day, and the urgency of her commitment stirred brightly within her. She had tossed and turned all night, the faces of those needing kindness swirling in her mind. The ache for action grew stronger, the call to be part of something greater than herself. Over breakfast, Sarah shared her ideas with her family, the bubbling enthusiasm spilling out in vibrant colors. It felt as if each thought might sprout wings, ready to take flight. "I think we should organize a community cleanup first," she suggested. "It can be our first step toward making a connection with others. When we care for our environment, we also care for the people within it." Her mother smiled, her eyes lighting up with understanding. "That's a wonderful idea. It'll bring people together. You might even find those who need more than just a clean park. They might find hope in the act itself." Sarah's heart thumped with excitement. Maybe she was onto something. They spent the morning planning, reaching out to friends and creating flyers. Each moment felt sacred, like the stitching of a quilt, weaving together patches of faith, hope, and community. As the week progressed, news of the cleanup spread like wildfire. Their little church wasn't just gaining momentum, it was igniting hearts. Conversations flowed, laughter rang out, and smiles became the fabric that bound them all together. Yet, mingled with all the joy were whispers of doubt. "Do you really think this is going to make a difference?" David asked one evening, his voice barely above a whisper. They stood together, staring at the nearby park already laden with litter. "What happens if no one shows up?" "Then we do it anyway," Sarah replied, her conviction steady.
Even if it's just us, we're making a statement. Goodness doesn't need a crowd to be effective. The fear of being met with indifference was real, and perhaps it was one that could weigh heavily on anyone's heart. But in that doubt, Sarah felt a soft assurance, an unspoken reminder that acting with love could cast out the shadows of fear. The next Saturday dawned bright and hopeful. Sarah, along with her family and a few friends, gathered at the park with bags in hand. Each person brought their unique spirit, their laughter cutting through the silence of the day. The first few hesitant steps soon transformed into joyous movement, joy bubbling up as they worked together. With every piece of trash they picked up, Sarah felt lighter. It was like they were pulling away not just the litter, but also the burdens that suffocated their community. Faces soon appeared from the labyrinth of trees and paths. People began to join them, intrigued by the sight of strangers working joyfully. Some even brought refreshments to share, a gift of humanity mingled with the earthy scent of shared purpose. As the sun bathed the park in warmth, Sarah caught sight of a little girl watching them from a distance. Her tiny face was smeared with dirt, her eyes wide with wonder. "Are you really helping?" she asked shyly. Sarah knelt before her, meeting her gaze. "Yes, we are. Would you like to help us too?" The girl's face lit up, the innocence of her enthusiasm melting Sarah's heart. "I can pick up sticks," she exclaimed, bounding forward with a newfound determination. With the girl leading the charge, the energy shifted. Laughter echoed, voices intertwined, and soon the group found themselves sharing more than just collecting trash. They shared stories, exchanged smiles, and discovered burdens they all carried. It was as if the park itself was coming alive again, from the laughter of children playing to the warmth of conversations blossoming. Yet, amidst the joy, Sarah sensed an undercurrent of profound change. This was not just about cleaning up, it was about breaking barriers and transforming hearts. Each moment became a testament to the beauty of unity. As they worked, the sun began to dip behind the trees, painting the sky with strokes of orange and pink. Tired limbs melded into a collective sense of accomplishment. But in the quiet of the dusk, a whisper lingered in Sarah's heart. This is just the beginning. In that sacred space, she realized the miraculous cost of goodness was unfolding right before her. Acts of kindness weren't simply deeds. They were lessons wrapped in divine moments, opening portals of connection and understanding. The question now simmered in the air. What greater acts of love awaited them as they ventured deeper into their calling? Would they be ready for the challenges and joys that this journey promised to bring?
Only faith would guide them forward into the next chapter of this transformative journey. The following week unfolded like a beautiful tapestry.
Each day, Sarah awoke with renewed purpose, her heart racing with ideas, sparked by the laughter and connections that the cleanup had birthed. She could feel an energy coursing through the community, a spark of love igniting hearts that had once felt distant. The gatherings became a blend of hope and friendship, where burdens were lifted alongside the trash. One sunny afternoon, while Sarah was sorting through a pile of community suggestions, she decided to host a potluck. Food brings people together, she thought, her heart fluttering at the idea. She could already envision neighbors meeting, sharing stories, introducing one another, and enjoying the simple pleasures of a meal nurtured by love. "Brilliant idea, Sarah," her mother beamed, helping her pin the announcement on the church bulletin board. "This will allow us to celebrate our achievements and deepen those new connections." The day arrived and Sarah could barely contain her excitement. Tables adorned with colorful cloth tables, filled with dishes, each one telling a story of family traditions and love. Sarah marveled at the sight, feeling joy well up like a bubbling brook. The laughter rang out again, merging with the aroma of roasted vegetables and sweet pies. As conversations flowed, Sarah noticed the diversity gathering around her, people of all ages and backgrounds, united in a singular purpose. She chuckled while eavesdropping on a conversation between a retired teacher and a teenager. They spoke about the importance of dreams and how they could inspire each other. In the midst of the potluck, an elderly woman named Mrs. Jenkins approached Sarah, her eyes twinkling with warmth. "Dearest, you've lit a fire in this community. It's like seeing long-lost family come home. Do you understand the impact you're making?" A flutter of humility brushed past Sarah. "I'm just trying to inspire small acts of kindness, Mrs. Jenkins. I never thought it would grow into this." "Ah, but that is where the miracle lies, my dear," she said, her hand gently touching Sarah's arm. "Each small act of love echoes in ways we can't always see. You may soon discover that your willingness to act can bring forth great change." That moment resonated deep within Sarah. An invisible thread connected them all. It wasn't merely a potluck. It was a divine expression unfolding, a ritual of love sharing itself in myriad forms. As twilight settled in, Sarah gathered everyone for a simple prayer. "Let's give thanks for the food and the new friendships we forged today," she encouraged, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. A chorus of amens enveloped the gathering, and the weight of gratitude hung in the air. Suddenly, a hush fell around the group as they noticed a newcomer hesitantly standing at the edge of the light cast by the candles.
It was a young man, shy but intrigued. Sarah's heart ached for him. "Come and join us," she called, her voice buoyant. As he approached, she could see the wariness in his eyes fading. "Do you have a story to share?" she asked gently, sensing the longing behind his timid smile. He hesitated, but then opened his heart, sharing about his lonely journey, the trials he had faced, and his desperate wish for connection. As he spoke, Sarah saw compassion bloom in the faces around her, each person visibly moved by his vulnerability. It was a moment of profound unity. They listened intently, their eyes reflecting understanding and empathy. Sarah's heart soared as she realized how the simple acts of gathering, sharing, and caring had created a safe haven for the lonely and brokenhearted. As the evening wound down, Sarah knew that this was a beginning of something bigger. The potluck opened a door not merely to food, but to healing and friendship. In her heart she felt it, the whisper of the divine calling for more. She reflected on Mrs. Jenkins' words, curious about what miracles awaited them next. Would they truly be ready to embrace the depth of the challenges ahead? What new revelations about love and community would unfold through the hands and hearts of those willing to step forward? The world held mysteries yet to be revealed. As the crowd began to disperse, Sarah lingered by the tables that were now strewn with dishes and cheerful remnants of their gathering. She found herself lost in thoughts, reflecting on the warmth in the air and the connections that had blossomed that evening. Each interaction had felt like a gentle caress from heaven, reminding her of the power and grace they held collectively. The young man, having shared his heartfelt tale, was now mingling with others. Sarah noticed the change in his demeanor. The worry lines on his forehead had softened, replaced by a tentative smile. It was a small miracle, yet it echoed like a resounding bell in her spirit. She chuckled softly,
thinking of how simple gatherings could weave threads of healing through the fabric of lives that had once felt frayed. Mrs. Jenkins found her again, resting a hand on her shoulder. "You see, Sarah," she said, her eyes twinkling like stars. "What you've started is like a pebble thrown into a pond. The ripples spread out, touching lives and connecting them in ways we cannot fully grasp." Tears sprang to Sarah's eyes, not of sadness, but of profound gratitude. "And what if the ripples go deeper? What if they reach places we least expect?" she asked, a glimmer of hope igniting in her heart. "Faith," Mrs. Jenkins replied, her voice soft yet firm. "Just as you gathered everyone here today, there are instances where God asks us to gather not just people, but hearts and souls." These words burrowed into Sarah's spirit, causing her to ponder the depth of community and the divine calling to serve.
What if they were indeed being called to a higher purpose, one that demanded sacrifice, but promised immeasurable joy in return? Days turned into weeks, and the energy in the community only flourished. They began holding more gatherings, game nights, prayer circles, and seasonal festivals, each event filling the air with laughter and rekindling forgotten dreams. A spirit of camaraderie enveloped them like a warm blanket, inviting even the most hesitant souls to step forward, to share, and to belong. Then came the time for the annual neighborhood fair. Sarah felt a surge of excitement and trepidation as she thought about organizing it. "What if we turn this fair into something special?" she suggested during a planning meeting. "Let's include a kindness booth where people can share acts of love." Her idea was greeted with a mix of enthusiasm and skepticism. "But how will we manage it amidst all the other activities?" one neighbor questioned. "By believing in the power of love," Sarah exclaimed. "What if we could challenge ourselves to outdo one another in kindness? Each act doesn't need to be grand. Even the smallest gesture can inspire." After a moment's pause, a kind-hearted woman named Angela raised her hand. "I'll help create a list of simple acts people can perform," she offered. There was a ripple of agreement, followed by excitement that the event could do more than entertain. It could uplift the spirit of the community. As the fair day approached, Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. Who would step up to join them? Would hearts reconcile? The air thrummed with energy and anticipation, yet there was a deeper knowing within her that the path would not be without challenges. And then, just as she thought all was set, whispers of doubt crept in. What if their efforts fell flat? What if the community didn't respond? Would it truly touch lives the way she believed it could? The night before the fair, Sarah found herself kneeling in prayer, seeking assurance. A gentle breeze rustled through the open window, brushing against her face like a soft promise. Trust in the divine plan, she felt nudged in her spirit. The cost of goodness may be heavy, but the rewards are eternal. With new determination, Sarah rose to her feet, ready to embrace whatever awaited them at the fair. Could this be the moment that set the course for even greater revelations? What divine surprises lay ahead for those willing to open their hearts? The unfolding story was just beginning. The day of the fair dawned bright and full of promise. Sarah arrived early, her heart pounding with a blend of excitement and nervousness. The park was alive, vibrant with color and music, each event brimming with laughter and joy. Volunteers set up games, tables overflowed with homemade goods, and the air smelled of sweet treats. But amidst it all, Sarah's focus remained sharp. What awaited at their kindness booth?
As the fair opened, families streamed in, giggles of children ringing like bells. Sarah invited her friends and neighbors to gather around the kindness booth, a mixture of hopeful anticipation building in her chest. "This booth is a testament to our commitment," she shouted with joy. "Let's show everyone that love knows no bounds." Clara stood beside her, beaming with enthusiasm. "Each act of kindness counts. Let's write them down, share our stories, inspire one another." With each person that approached, hearts opened, stories shared, and small acts of love exchanged. They encouraged random acts of kindness around the fair, like helping the elderly with food or giving compliments to strangers. It snowballed into an uncontrollable wave of goodwill. Slowly, people began to pick up the rhythm of the booth. One by one, they added their kind deeds to a large paper mural, an explosion of color and warmth. The act of kindness that Sarah had once envisioned as simple began morphing into a powerful movement saturating the fairgrounds. Yet amidst the joy, Sarah still felt that familiar pang of anxiety. What if there were those who brushed past without participating? What if the message didn't reach everyone? Suddenly, she heard a commotion from the main area. A young girl had fallen, and the crowd gasped. Sarah's heart raced. Children cried. Mothers rushed over. Without thinking, she dashed toward the scene, her focus only on the girl curled on the ground. Kneeling by the girl, Sarah gently brushed the hair from her face. "Hey there, sweetie," she whispered, trying to keep her voice calm. The girl looked up, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I think I hurt my knee," she sobbed. The mother arrived, panic apparent. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry." Her frantic joy disappeared in an instant. But just then, Sarah, feeling compelled by the Holy Spirit, reached for the kindness board tucked under her arm and gently urged the girl's mother to look. "See this? This board is filled with acts of love. We have done so many good now. When you leave here today, let's add some more kindness." Their eyes met. A flicker of realization crossed the mother's face. "You're right," she said, wiping her daughter's tears. The girl listened intently, her heart slowly easing as she registered the echoes of love surrounding them. With a few cling wraps and warm band-aids from the first aid booth, the girl was back on her feet within minutes. "You know," Sarah said, looking down into her eyes, "this is a perfect opportunity to show kindness right back. Maybe you could make someone feel happy today too." "Yeah, I could help someone like I just got helped," she grinned, a spark reigniting in her spirit. As they continued to help others around them, two neighbors approached Sarah, their faces full of resolve, gratitude written all over them. The woman spoke up, her voice steady. "The stories, the connections today, thank you for this initiative."
We've seen community hoot for the first time in years. Sarah felt a swell of love in her chest. Their purpose was palpable now. Everywhere she looked, people were learning, sharing, embracing kindness among each other. Children giggled, adults grinned, and the sense of unity spread like wildfire. And as dusk began to settle in, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the true energy of the day made itself known. People gathered around the kindness mural, the paper a vibrant testament to everything they had built together. Each act of love pressed onto the surface, telling stories of healing and transformation. Sarah stood back, tears of overwhelming gratitude welling in her eyes. It was more than she had envisioned, a divine tapestry unfolding, each thread woven with moments of joy and connection. "That kindness booth," Clara said, stepping beside her with a knowing smile, "is a game changer. We're just getting started. Imagine how much good we can do beyond today." The pastor arrived beside them, his eyes sparkling with appreciation. "Look at the joy surrounding this place. This is what happens when hearts are opened." But deep within, Sarah felt the gravity of the moment. This was not merely a successful fair. This was a call to action, a divine commission. There would be trials ahead, setbacks to overcome, yet also blessings waiting to unfold like petals in bloom. "What's next?" Sarah mused, her spirit lit with expectation. "How can we continue this journey beyond the fair?" Pastor Mark grasped her shoulder warmly. "Every act of love creates a ripple, Sarah, but it begins with us recognizing that we are all part of something bigger. Go boldly into the world, and remember, God's hand is guiding us forward." As she looked around at the joyful faces gathered in love, Sarah felt an unexplainable rush of peace and strength. Their journey together couldn't just end here. They were equipped with faith to step out into the wider world, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. With newfound resolve, she smiled widely amongst her friends, harmonizing a silent oath that they would continue this divine manifestation of goodness. As the fair concluded, Sarah closed her eyes and offered a prayer of gratitude. They were now on a path leading towards miracles yet to be realized. "Let's take this love, this joy, and be a light," she whispered in the hush of the gathering. "For we are merely beginning. The next chapter awaits." And within her spirit, she heard that gentle whisper of faith. "Yes, dear child, you are ready." Now, dear friends, the story of divine goodness embarks on its most impactful voyage. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. This is the moment to show your support by leaving a like now to feed the algorithm. Don't wait even one more second to comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending.
And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. For only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.